Hawaiian trade winds, sky of endless blue, moonlight on the ocean, good food, good wine, and you.
Hawaiian stuff. Great chefs, Hawaiian stuff.
Aloha, and welcome to Great Chefs of Hawaii. Come join us for a taste of paradise as the island's finest chefs explore Pacific Rim cuisine. This time from Oahu, Thomas Wong. From Maui, David Paul Johnson. And from Oahu, Jeff Walters.
The appetizer this time comes from the Royal Hawaiian Hotel in Waikiki Beach. The executive sous chef there is Thomas Wong. He began his cooking career in the culinary arts program at Kapiolani Community College and eventually worked at the Greenbrier Hotel in West Virginia. His appetizer is Venison Pipikaula. A marinade for the venison starts with 2 cups of soy sauce. Then an equal amount of brown sugar.
May I have a whip?
Chopped garlic and ginger. About a half a cup sherry. Dried red pepper flakes. Sesame oil, and the marinade is finished with some hot water.
Okay, I added the hot water in here just to help dissolve the sugar and to expand the flavors from the pepper and the garlic and ginger. We'll do is we'll marinate for 24 hours. I'm turning it occasionally.
The loin is wrapped in cheesecloth. Both ends are tied, then the loin goes into a stovetop smoker.
Okay, I'll add a little bit of olive oil on the cheesecloth. What this enables us to do is have the smoky flavor attach itself and get absorbed into this venison loin. Okay, now it's ready for smoking. I'm using mesquite wood chips. It's something that's very accessible, easy to get. There's a lot of choices and alternatives out there, and you know, something that you find that you may like, you can use. I would smoke it for 10 to 15 minutes at a high smoke. Okay, so I would leave it hot, and then after it's done out of the smoker, we'll take it out of the smoking pan, put it on a sheet pan, and finish it in the oven to desired temperature, preferably about medium rare to medium. Okay, we'll add the orange.
A vinaigrette begins with orange slices, diced Maui onion, chopped garlic, and salt and pepper.
Add the garlic. and a pinch of salt and pepper. This first step in your blender, this will help us emulsify the salad dressing.
Then olive oil, rice vinegar, fish sauce, and chili pepper water are added. The finished loin is sliced for presentation. Mixed greens garnish. This is the vinaigrette. Some wasabi-infused oil is also used. David Paul's Lahaina Grill is one of that town's hot dining destinations. It's been cited in Food Arts, Bon Appetit, and Esquire. Mimi Sheraton gave it 3 stars and called it a traveler's must. Owner chef David Paul Johnson knows Hawaiian cuisine, as he shows with Kalua Duck with plum sauce.
We use whole Peking duck for this, and we generally buy California ducks. You begin by removing the fat, and this is what you're going to render. And this dish is actually a confit, and that is to preserve the dish by cooking in its own fat. You start by removing the arms, and save that and the giblets for the stock. Separate the legs from the body by pulling them forward slightly. Take your knife, and then using your thumb and your hand, pop the leg bone out, cut around up to that top part, make sure you get that knuckle, and pull the duck away from it. Now you can trim off your excess fat and render this in order to do the confit. Then I take the carcass, and I split the carcass into smaller pieces, which I'm going to make my stock with. I have a sauce made up in advance. But the sauce is primarily made up of basic duck stock with the addition of plum wine in the very beginning of the reduction of the sauce. Once the sauce is reduced and strained, you get a beautiful sauce that has this deep, dark texture with plum undertones to it.
The leg quarters are seared in duck fat.
Over very high heat, you want to sear this. And duck burns quickly, so it's important to really monitor it.
Garlic cloves and small onions are stewed in some duck fat as well.
Place this over medium-high heat and cook it down for approximately 10 minutes. Now with the skin side down on this, we're going to add some of our seasoning into the pan. Peppercorns and bay leaves, some garlic, a few sprigs of thyme, and now we're going to completely cover it with our duck oil. We're going to add a little bit of liquid smoke. From here, we're going to go into the oven. After a few minutes, we pull the duck out of the oven. And now we can cover it. The oil has settled down, so it's no longer bubbling. Kalua Duck is not using a liqueur, but a style of cooking. Kalua in Hawaiian is a form of cooking, usually pork, underground in an imu. And an imu is a large pit that has been filled with fire, and then the product is put on top of that, and then it's covered with dirt again. In a kitchen, that's not a realistic thing to do, so we use liquid smoke. Liquid smoke adds that intense woody flavor that you get by cooking in an imu. And of course, the idea is that it should be so cooked that it falls off the bone, and that's why confit is such an ideal method of cooking duck.
The onions and garlic are drained and the duck legs glazed under a broiler just before presentation.
And our duck is ready to be plated.
The duck is served on a combination of white, wild, and brown rice.
And we're going to place the duck on the rice. Being very gentle, because at this point, this duck is ready to fall off the bone. And our sauce has been reduced down to this consistency right here. We're going to add just a little bit of plum wine to finish it. And we have some what we're calling winter vegetables, some baby carrots and baby corn to work with for garnish. Now you can add your confit of garlic and onion. And last but not least, a little bit of garnish. That's our Kalua Duck.
The dessert comes from the Halekulani Hotel in Honolulu and pastry sous chef Jeff Walters. He apprenticed at the Hyatt Regency Waikiki, the Hilton Hawaiian Village, as well as 2 upscale bakeries. He avails himself of one of Hawaii's great products with a Big Island vintage chocolate surprise.
Okay, for the Hawaiian chocolate surprise, for the dough, first you put the sugar and the butter. You just want to blend it a little bit until it's creamed together, not too much, just so it's together. After it's together, you just add in the flour. And the cocoa powder. And the vanilla. All you want to do is make it into a dough. You don't really need to mix it too much, just till it comes together. So it should be fairly moist. If it's a little bit dry, you can just add a little bit more butter into it. Then you want to divide it up. Now for this size of ring that we use, this is about 3 ounces, and then the top part is about 1 ounce. So if you can use souffle ramekins or something else. Just divide it up so it's about 1/4 of the weight is for the top part. And what we do is to make a well for the ganache to go in. Kind of tap it down and then just try to make a fairly even wall. Make sure the bottom's not too thin. Okay, now for the ganache, I got about 12 ounces of cream, and then this is Hawaiian chocolate. It's grown on the Kona coast of the Big Island. And I've got about 8 ounces of that. We want a fairly thin ganache, so when we heat this up, the ganache melts really easily. So when your cream comes to a boil, just pour it over the chocolate. You can let it sit there for a little bit to start to melt the chocolate, and then just stir it until it all comes together to smooth. Then you can just spoon it into the cookie crust here. Not quite all the way to the top.
The ring molds are buttered and sprinkled with cocoa.
And you want to refrigerate that till it's solid, or it sets up. Then you take the top, just take this and just tap it down so it'll seal up. And then we flip them over so this side is now the top, so you get a nice clean top. Then you bake it for 15 minutes at 375. Then if you want to, you can bake them and serve them later. You just heat them up for 5 minutes in about a 400-degree oven.
For presentation, cocoa is sprinkled on the plate.
Powdered sugar on the plate. Just unmold that. Little powdered sugar on top. That's it.